Alright, so I told you that we were gonna do this scope. My bike is over this way. I'm gonna grab wings too.
Okay.
That's cool. Thanks. Just hot wings with a 10. Yeah.
Ranch or blue cheese?
Blue cheese, please.
Got it.
Thanks. So I'll show you what we have going on. I got my bike parked over there. I'm at a bar kind of over here. We got the dogs right here, Atlantic Avenue. Lots of stuff going on. Very dog friendly kind of area. And have a Bloody Mary. So a couple things that are important is that you're never going to be able to get to this point if you don't practice. Thank you. If you don't practice your dogs regularly learning how to kind of hang out and knowing when it's time to play, knowing when it's time to kind of cool out and just relax, right? So these are these guys here. Show you them. Got Bentley over here, Soko over here. They're not tied up or anything because there's really no need to tie them up. And I'll show you a little bit when the dog comes and like the interest and what I do, because like Bentley was a dog that like has like overly concern issues, and as a result dog reactivity issues if you allow it. I don't allow it, so it doesn't arise, right? Because I catch the fuse and I nip that in the bud. And I'm relevant enough for the most part, unless it's another like super reactive dog or something where I have to give her more information and like add a correction to it. Usually like vocally or verbally is enough to kind of help her out, right? From everybody, mostly from the dogs, Ellen, that's a great question. I guess by definition people say I'm self-taught. I don't believe that. I think that's kind of silliness. But I'm trying to learn from everybody, even the people that I don't agree with. There's always something to learn from them for sure. So this will be perfect right here. You have the dogs, I think it's 2 dogs coming up right there. Hey, a little bit of that. If I have to reach through the leash, I will. There's a couple things that I look for. I'm gonna assume, hey, right there again. Assume that like because it's like a bigger dog and stuff, even right here if I want to, I can add like a little leash, and it's just a little like reminder to say don't worry about it. And then we get like the calm looking. Now if that was a dog that was on flexi, that was like coming toward, then I would step in and I would interrupt. Again here, hey. And if I have to help her, and I probably made a silly mistake. If I would have had a remote, it would have been easier because I would never had to physically touch. I can, hey, use my verbal interruption and catch every single time. But when you get like calm looking and stuff like that, what happens is like dogs will keep on moving, and she can see that, oh, okay, cool, I don't have to like really worry about like nonsense, right? That's pretty much what it is. You know, we're just kind of hanging out on the strip. It's early, there's like dogs over there and everything, just kind of hanging out, and that is it. So if you guys have any questions, we'll do a little Q&A, make it easier for everybody. Do lots of Q&As because I know that that we're missing out. Here we go. Put it over. Food aggressive and bone aggressive. Well, if it's a puppy, just have them knock it off right away. I missed that, Casey. You're gonna have to send that again. Don't allow it. Like for lunch, I think I'm just gonna get some wings. I was gonna get a salad, but I think I'm gonna grab some wings. That sounds good to me. 6 months. I personally believe that a dog should fear making that choice before, if they're that stubborn. But if you have a puppy, you just have to show them that it's not needed, it's not necessary, and also you don't allow it. It's pretty much, it's that simple. So what I would do is from a less confrontational point of view, I guess I would say, is I would teach the dog really solid recall, get him really sensitive on leash, and then when I have that, because I work dogs for their food, I would work on calling the dog off of their food, first with recall, and then rewarding with something of higher value. And I would do that not so many times within one feeding, maybe like max 4 times, but usually like 2 to 3 times within a feeding, getting something of higher value. So being called off of a dog, off of food, is something that's like a positive experience, and I know that it brings good things. And then once that's really sharp, and I've transferred that with leash pressure over to remote pressure, and the dog knows it does it like a champ, then I'm gonna switch to to outing the dog where I'm stepping in. And when I step into the dog, I might use a leash with remote to show that when the dog comes off of the bowl, as I step in, they learn my spatial pressure. I reward for that too. Good boy, boom, and I feed. So once I like that physical behavior, then I'll name it and I'll say out, and I'll do what the dog's already successful at doing. Boom, out it, boom, out it. Do that a number of times, and when that's really, really good, the dog's aware of my spatial pressure. I don't need a remote anymore, and I just out the dog happily out. It's because he knows something better is coming, and I teach that first. Then once that's known, if he's still trying to be like a little bit of a douche about it around other dogs or people, that's when you get a correction. And it's absolutely not, you already know that that's not needed, that's not tolerable, and I've been really fair. I've taught you what to do, you're a rock star at it. Now I will correct you for doing that because it's flat out not allowed. I can't really correct a dog in some situations when they don't know there was another choice. So I'm always going to be fair about that. I'm always going to teach that other choice, and that's pretty much that. That's how I do it. You know what? The lighting is better here, so we'll do that. Yeah, no problem. Hey Kim, what was your question? No problem, Bren. Let's see what else. So you always get the impressed. Always super impressed. What's going on? What was the question, Kim? She normally watches these scopes at work, so she might actually be at work and had to boogie. But if anybody else has any questions, oh, there you go. Responded how? Like aggressively? If that was to happen, then I have to look at two things. My timing was off because I didn't catch it, or I didn't catch it firm enough, especially if a dog knew what to do. And in that situation, like let's say it's Copper, he knows what to do and he's not taking you seriously over something else, then you have to be stronger and clearer with what they should do instead, which is calling off, not pulling back. You're never looking to pull back. That's important, okay? That's where like good precision and good timing with a remote and a leash can really work in your favor, so it doesn't have to be like a muscle match. And then eventually when that gets really, really good, you're basically just working verbal with the dog, hey, because they know what that represents. It's just like teaching any command. When I teach the here commands, I don't name it until I like what the dog is already doing. So when you like what the dog is already doing, you add that verbal to it, it becomes an association, and you're golden. And don't forget, guys, if you think this stuff is like valuable, that little person in the lower right hand corner, you can tap that and you can actually invite your Periscope following or people that you follow and stuff over. You can do it individually, you can invite everybody, you can also share this, and of course tap the screen and heart away. I might actually relocate the camera just so you can see all the stares and the looks and everything that like people get. What's up, Mr. Six? There we go. Got some people inviting and sharing. Let me lower this a little bit. Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. I really can't do it that way. I tried. Bloody Mary. It's a little something. Enjoying this weather, enjoying training the dogs. Yeah, well, you get to this point, training's easy, training's enjoyable, training becomes a lifestyle. It's not like you have to live your life around the dogs. Like, you teach them how to fit into your life. I'm not getting hammered, I'm not like ordering shots, but I'm gonna order a Bloody Mary, a water, and some wings. Get my spice on. That is pretty much it. What other questions do we have, guys? Lindsay went home yesterday. I drove her to the airport. Had to get rid of her. Should I get my dog really good on leash pressure? Me personally, I would. I absolutely would get any dog good on leash pressure. They're impressed with these guys because I think that it makes communication so much clearer and so much easier when you transfer it over, because you're talking like it's the same thing, but a leash is kind of like a cheat sheet because they can feel where pressure is coming. Oh, did you? Yeah, Andrew will teach you that, no problem. But like the leash is a cheat sheet because they can feel where pressure is coming from. With the remote, they don't really know. They feel it, but they don't know what that is. So if you've conditioned them really well, it's super easy to just transfer right over to a remote if you're doing it the right way. I used to use slip leads like for practically everything, but my clients struggle a lot with problem dogs with slip leads. So now I use slip leads primarily like when I am in like a socialization setting, when I'm working with like an aggressive dog, when I'm getting like a leash on the first time. It's a little bit easier, in and out of crates, stuff like that. Short little potty walks here and there, but for the most part, prongs and halties. Are you in Puerto Rico right now, Kim? Periscoping from PR, that's nice. Oh, okay, very cool. What other questions, guys? What other questions? Yeah, Andrew's got that pretty mastered for the most part. If you work a dog for their food, you can get it fairly easy. You just have to have patience. A lot of people don't have the patience for it. That's really what it comes down to. Guys, I'll take one more question, maybe two, and then it's time for me to get my grub on. Yeah, can't get frustrated. If you get frustrated, walk away from it and come back later. Nothing works when it comes to dog training. Nothing works when you're frustrated. I've tried it. It doesn't work.
Tito's vodka? Huh? Tito's vodka, okay, sure.
We're getting a little bit busier. It's actually cold for Florida right now, so it's a little more quiet than normal. And it's also kind of early, like this strip around dinner time is like jam-packed. A lot of nice cars on this block also. Thank you so much. Can I have the water as well? Thank you. All right, guys, so the food just got here. I am gonna get my grub on. I'll see you guys